I got exclusive access to a brand new game called Civilization Eras and Allies, made by the makers of The Civilization, and you guys are not going to believe how awesome this game is. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to an episode of Civilization Eras and Allies. I am Shappy. I am a sponsored Rise of Kingdoms and Civilization Eras and Allies and Age of Empires mobile content creator. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right hand corner, because we have all sorts of amazing content coming your way. But today, we are talking about the Civilization Eras and Allies first look. Now, if you're totally unfamiliar with the Civilization franchise, let me bring you up to speed. These guys have been making Civilization-based games for years, probably even decades at this point. I remember my first Civilization game was Civilization Revolution on the Nintendo DS way back when. And 2K is actually the makers of Civilization Eras and Allies. And you can tell because if you've heard the Civilization franchise, you know this background music is an absolute bop. So today, we're going to be diving into this game to walk you through some of the really cool things that I've seen in my first look. This is not available for download yet, but if you're interested in it and you want to learn more, check the link in the description. It will have access to their Discord, which will let you know when they are going live in your region. So let's jump into the game. So we are into the game, and this is a quick look at the UI styling. As you can see, it's very traditional Civ-esque. If you've played Civ, you know how it goes. Most of it is very tile-based. Now, you can zoom out and you have different views such that you can see how everything looks as you go about playing the game. But the main things to keep in mind here are it's like Civ in that there are certain mechanics that are really familiar, like tech. This tech tree looks straight out of a Civilization game, maybe even Civ 6. So tech is in this game, but it's different from a lot of the other games that you've probably played. If you're like my existing audience, you probably came from Rise of Kingdoms, where you're used to standard tech trees. This is more like the traditional Civilization tech trees, which I think is really exciting. You can get bonuses to tech by completing specific tasks here. That's what these little eurekas are. So you can complete workshops, do all sorts of things like that. You can also build out your city by building specific buildings. So we have quarters here, quarries here. All of this is mainly to advance your production levels while building out your armies to make them as strong as possible. As you can see, we have our different districts. You have encampment, you have tech and campuses, you have commercial districts. The list goes on and on and on. But that's not all. You can actually have multiple types of cities as well. So you can have a sub-city, which I have over here somewhere, called Mini Shap. This is a sub-city that I built. And you can, of course, move your cities, teleport as needed. But in this particular game, you really don't need to do that all that much. The goal is to build out the area around you as best as you possibly can to increase your production so you can advance to different eras. Different eras have different unit types. So we have infantry, ranged, cavalry, but we also have siege functionalities like trebuchet, and each era has different technologies. So as you move along, you get things like machine gunmen or militiamen, or you get siege that are cannonballs and bombards, and it continues to get better and better as you go. Your range becomes artillery. You also get things like planes, and you can have fighter jets, and you can have tanks and fight with tanks. Now, if you're new to this kind of a game, it is almost turn-based from a combat style. So it's not going to be like real-time battling like you have in Rise of Kingdoms or even Age of Empires. It is going to be more turn-based, such that when you move a commander out to somewhere, you can actually see how that commander moves. And as they move, they can then capture different tiles or territories or things like that. So let's actually give it a shot at seeing if I can capture this right here. I don't know if I can, but we're going to give it a shot. And what we're using here are actually different commanders. Now, different commanders have all sorts of mechanics in this game. Like Rise of Kingdoms, you do have infantry, you do have cavalry, you do have ranged, but unlike Rise of Kingdoms, you actually don't have to specialize your march with those troop types. I have, but you can use other marches. And your commanders actually work with different troop types as well. In this game, you have a bunch of different technologies as well as different skills, and you can assign skills to different commanders as you use them. You can also change which units they use to have more specialized units. So right now I'm using longswordsmen, but maybe I want to favor my defense, in which case I'll go ahead and I will grab the mercenaries. So different unit types also have different benefits. Now, all of this may sound very complicated, but I promise once you get into the game, things get much more straightforward. And my goal as a sponsored content creator for Civilization Eras and Allies is to make things as simple as possible for you, which means walking you through all of this at a high level, but then I'll also be making subsequent videos on things that you want to make sure you do, or more importantly, don't do as you get into the game. Commander pairings are super important, and you will have different commanders that have bonds. Different bonds actually lend themselves to getting new bonuses and effects that improve your ability to do well in combat. So all of these things add up to a really fun and exciting game. I have had so much fun playing this already, and my goal within this game is to go ahead and build out the best thing that I possibly can. Now, this is called Civ, right? So with Civ, we do have to be able to change our civilizations. So right now here you can see that I am actually the civilization of America, but you can change your civilization as you deem fit. To change your civilization, all you need to do is come into your profile and click change civilization. Now what's cool about this is different civilizations have different benefits, much like Rise of Kingdoms and Age of Empires Mobile. But these mechanics also come with unique units that allow you to be differentiated in combat. And switching is for the most part free right now, at least for the first or second switch, but there probably will be a cost. Now, I'm sure you're watching all this and you're like, Shappy, how much does this game cost? And the truth is, this game is totally free, and it is extremely free to play friendly. So far, I've been playing this game for a couple weeks now, and the only thing that I've found that you really need to spend any money at all on is going to be gold currency. Now, what do you use gold currency for? Well, I'm glad you asked. Within this game, you can go through and recruit countless numbers of commanders. There are a bunch of different commanders that are super well differentiated. They all have great historical backgrounds, and there are different tiers of recruitment. So let's actually go ahead and show you guys how this works. Here are all of the different commanders that you can get. William Wallace, Sun Tzu, Meng Tian, Alexander the Great. Civ did it first, guys. They have all of the commanders that you could possibly want, including commanders from Rise of Kingdoms, including commanders from Age of Empires Mobile. You name it, they're probably here. And all of these commanders have different benefits. So you can see here, Minamoto is actually an infantry commander, whereas Charles Martel is actually a ranged commander. So you do get slight differences between how different commanders work from one game to another. In this game, El Cid is a cavalry commander. But let's actually go through the process of recruiting. So each recruitment costs 900 gold. That may seem like a lot, but you'll notice I have a ton of gold, and gold is actually pretty easy to come by. So let's actually go through the recruitment process just to give you guys a quick preview of how it works. And the reason that we do this is because we actually want to be able to get these legendary commanders as soon as possible. Once we get them, we get this really cool animation that I'm a huge fan of, and you can build them into your lineup. You can also retire these commanders to acquire really valuable skills. Or if you have a commander that you particularly like, you can also go ahead and level them up. So I have 2 Tamiris, I can actually ascend her and get another star. So this game is super complex, it's super exciting, it does support PvP, but it also enables you to really have a in-game experience much to yourself. Now, that said, there's skirmishes, there's alliances, there's PvP battles, there's global maps. The list goes on and on and on. Here's just a look at how the map shakes out. It is super cool. You can see where each player is, you can see which resource points they've occupied, and you can see what their resource income is. If you're excited about this game, be sure to drop a like on the video and let me know in the comments section below. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but this has been a quick first look at Civilization Eras and Allies. I think you guys are going to love it, and if you do want to learn more, definitely check out that Discord link in the description. I will be making more videos for this game as we get closer to the global release date. I know I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are. Once again, if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner, and hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes of Rise of Kingdoms, Age of Empires Mobile, or Civilization, Eras, and Allies content does come out. Thank you all. Shappy out.